Hello and welcome to the Big Chid Show. I am your host, Chid, and today we are doing a tier list that is way too early on what teams would I like to watch the most in the 2026-2027 season. I know this is very early, but I have a feeling that most of the deals and all the off-season moves has done. I think there's just a couple things around the edges that will change, but I just wanted to do it. I've been wanting to do the tier list thing for a while, and here we go. We're going to have a crack at it. Obviously, you can see on the left, must watch. Very excited. I'm intrigued. Meh. Why would I do this to myself? Pretty self-explanatory. But guys, look, this is going to be different. It's not going to be. I'm a very biased person, so I'm just going to get out of the way already and say Minnesota is in my must watch. I think even if it wasn't my favorite team, I think it would still be in the must watch to very excited. I think the LaMelo deal is just going to unlock a lot with Anthony Edwards and Rudy and Jade McDaniels. I think the Timberwolves are a must-watch to very excited, at least even if you're neutral. Obviously, I'm not, so I'm going to put them in must-watch. I'm not going to blither and blabber on about it. We're just going to leave it there. Fight me in the comments. But yeah, obviously, must-watch teams. I think you can't turn. You got to watch the games. So in that, I think the 76ers. Obviously, just getting LeBron, it makes them a must-watch team by far. I don't think you could put them any lower than that. I think LeBron, the entity that is LeBron, makes teams must-watchable. I don't think the Lakers were ever not must-watch when he was on it. The Cavs certainly weren't. Miami was definitely must-watch. So wherever LeBron goes, that team turned into a must-watch team. But aside from LeBron, the star power that the Philadelphia 76ers have, it's just ridiculous. Like, that is probably the best starting five in the league. I can't think of anything that comes close to that. Obviously there are concerns. Defense. There's only one ball to go around four stars, and then you've got VJ. But I just think that all goes out the window when you've got four All Stars, four All NBA players on the one team. I think it's crazy. The depth, obviously, they're going to suss that out, but I don't think that changes them from a must watch to anything else. So the 76ers are in the must watch category. I don't want to go on about it. I just had a video going on about the 76ers and LeBron. So the next must watch, I believe. See, I didn't do a whole notes list. I wanted to just go off the top of the dome, just keep it fresh, keep it like what I actually think at the time. I'm gonna go to why would I do this to myself next? I think there's a couple of teams that I just would prefer to watch anything else than watch these basketball teams. And one of those teams is the New Orleans Pelicans. I don't think they've done anything. I think they've accidentally signed DeAndre Jordan to a 2-year deal, which, from what I've seen, they made that was a mistake. They didn't mean to do that. That's the only move they've done, which that's just crazy work. They weren't very good to watch last year. They've done nothing now. I don't know what would make them go up. In my opinion, I will not be paying attention to a New Orleans game unless it's against one of the must-watch people. And yeah, there's not much you can say. I don't know what you like. I think it has to be the last year of the build around Zion. I think if it's the same old thing where they just do nothing, I think Zion's gone next year. I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that, but I think they have just been so bad for so long. But yeah, I'm not going to go on too much about them. They're in my why would I do this to myself tier. Another team that is in my why would I do this to myself tier is the Sacramento Kings. The only thing that I think the Kings have that is I would put if I was to change, I would do that. is they have Darius Acuff with whatever's left on that team. Again, I just don't know why I'd be watching Kings game unless I'm heavily invested in Darius Acuff, which I am not. I all hope that goes well for him, but yeah, the Kings have been the laughing stock for a while now, and I feel so bad for Sacramento Kings fans, and I sort of I know what they're going through being a Minnesota fan. We went through the same thing for a long time, but they've been going through it longer than us, and it is pain for them. I will not be tuning in to watch the Sacramento Kings play basketball this year. Another team that I have in why would I do this to myself? I don't know if this is a controversial pick. I don't think it is. I have the Milwaukee Bucks in there. I'm not that intrigued on Tyler Hero playing by himself. They've got some new rookies in there, but I'm not invested. I'm not invested in it. I think. No, you know what? That's not true. They've got Jaime Jaquez, Clay Ware, Tyler Hero. I'll put him in meh. I'll put him in meh because I guess you always want to see what a team does after blowing it up, and they blew it up. They sent the Giannis deal. They got a whole bunch back. So I'll say meh. I say if it's on and there's no other game on, I will watch the Milwaukee game. But I can see myself falling out of interest with Milwaukee 1 or 2 months into the season. So I'll put Milwaukee in meh. Going back up to must watch, I had a mind blank. The Spurs are in must watch. If Wemby's on the court, you're watching the Spurs. It's not even a debate. Victor Wembanyama is going to run this league for however long he's in the league. And I just think when you've got a chance to watch an alien play, I think he is in must watch. I think the team around him is young. I don't think they've chosen. There's not been too many rumors on moving De'Aaron Fox. He's obviously probably going to be there next year or this year, sorry. And I think if he's on the team, if he's not, they're still going to be a must-watch team. Stephon Castle is ridiculous. Dylan Harper is ridiculous. And they've added Tobias Harris, which is like perfect for what they need. So yeah, the San Antonio Spurs are must-watch. Now, in the very excited category, I have one team on my mind. And it might shock some people. I don't know if it will. Obviously, it's my second video. No one's going to be shocked by me, I think. I think they're just going to be, oh, this is what this guy's into. The Chicago Bulls. I'm very excited with the Chicago Bulls. I am a big fan of Caleb Wilson. Obviously, the comparisons, I think someone said he's like the lowest he could be is Kevin Garnett. I think that's ridiculous. But he moves a lot like Kevin Garnett. Obviously, I'm a Kevin Garnett guy. Marcus Buzelis, Josh Giddey. Obviously, I'm Australian. Josh Giddey is always going to get a watch from me. I can't wait to just see a fast break with Josh Giddey lobbing it to Buzelis, Caleb Wilson. And they picked up Nick Claxton. Like, Nick Claxton, I don't think they got nothing. They gave up nothing to get him in. That's just a wicked pickup for them who needed a center. He's an athletic guy. Marcus Buzelis is athletic. Caleb Wilson's athletic. Norman Powell, I feel like that's one of the underrated pickups this offseason. Like, that starting line, I don't know who's it. Yeah, so it'll be, Giddey, Powell, Martis, Caleb Wilson, Nick Claxton. That's a fun starting five. I'm very excited to watch Chicago Bulls play. Their new ownership has done some, or their not ownership, their new GM has done some crazy good things, and it's very, very fun to look at. I'm very excited for the Chicago Bulls and how their future is summing up to be. Another team I'm very excited to watch is the Charlotte Hornets. Now, feels weird saying that, obviously being a Timberwolves fan and they don't have LaMelo anymore. I'm excited for two things. I'm excited for this man, Naz Reid. Naz Reid is getting a starting gig. Like, that's exciting to me. He never obviously got that opportunity for us. I'm so excited for Naz Reid to be starting. And I'm excited to see how Con Knipple, and I'm having a mind blank, Brandon Miller. I'm excited to see how Brandon Miller and Con Knipple go now without that elite playmaking and an elite offense that LaMelo Ball was providing. The Hornets are taking a bet on those two guys being able to lead this team into the future, and I've seen no reason why they can't. Obviously, the on-off numbers with LaMelo are pretty damning, but I think they're just willing to take that risk. Obviously, Kobe White's going to slip into that one spot now. Who again, he's not much of a playmaking guard. He is more of a two guard. But look, we'll see what happens. Trey Mann obviously comes back. They've got Grayson Allen coming in. I mean, the team itself is a pretty well-rounded, pretty deep team. And yeah, I'm excited to see if it works. So I'll say I'm very excited to see the Hornets play basketball in 2026. Another team that I am very excited to watch. Actually, no, sorry. The Lakers are always must watch with Luka. Luka is one of those guys. Again, I should probably go through these teams. I probably will say, all right. So Jokic. Actually, hold off on that. I don't know about that. Giannis, Luka. Hold off on that. That's. Oh, and the Knicks. They're my must watch. And that 6 is staying there. That's the 6. So Lakers, Heat, Knicks. I've just added them to the must watch. Luka, Giannis, and then the championship defense of the Knicks is obviously going to be must watch. Luka Doncic he's unbelievable. I know I've seen him demolish my team in the conference finals. It could be an MVP season loading for him this year. Austin Reeves is back. They've filled out the roster with players that Luka Doncic wanted, and they built around Luka Doncic now fully. They've fully gone into the Luka Doncic era, and Austin Reeves, I like it. I'm very excited to watch it. It's always going to be must watch with Luka. The Miami Heat. Now, they're simply must watch because it's Giannis in Miami. If it was like they haven't built their team fully out, I don't think yet. There's still probably a couple of moves to make. But the idea of Giannis playing on a new team, standing there next to Bam, watching that front court work, even though it might be a bit clunky, I'm very excited to watch that this year. And that's a team that will probably captivate me most of the year. And I believe, they're going to be fun to watch. It might, like I said, it might be clunky. Davion Mitchell looks like, I don't know, I've seen so many videos this offseason of him just looking, feels like he's aura farming, but it's pretty sick. So I'm a fan. The Miami Heat are must watch. The New York Knicks, the championship defense, they're always going to have my respect. I'm always going to watch them if they're on. Obviously, Cat's there. I'm obviously going to watch that team. Jalen Brunson being Jalen Brunson. That team's basically kept the same team. They lost Mitch Robinson and Huck Porty, but they brought in Andre Drummond. I think they're going to be fine. They're going to be at the top of the East again, 1-3, and they're going to be must watch. A team I'm intrigued about. I don't know if this is an iffy one. I'm intrigued with Brooklyn. The new draft rules have pretty much said you cannot bottom out. If you bottom out and you're the worst team in the league, you're not going to get, or there's less chance you're going to get a high pick, like a top 3 pick. So what they've done is they've held on to MPJ. They've brought in Julius Randle. They've drafted another guard that they already had. Jaeger Demon's pretty good. Nolan Schroeder is all right. This team is just pretty much setting themselves like, all right, we're not going to be the worst team in the league. We're going to try and be maybe the 6th or the 5th or 6th worst team in the league. And that's where they're aiming for. And I think that'd be fun to watch. I'm intrigued simply because Julius Randle with no chains, like he's probably the best player on that team now. Michael Porter Jr. working off Randle is going to be fun to watch. I'll put him in there. I'm probably not that intrigued. I look on it. I'm probably not that intrigued. But they're floating. They're floating in between Matt and I'm intrigued. They've made some moves. I want to see how those moves work. It's going to be fun seeing Randall and MPJ fight over at basketball for 40 minutes or 2 hours, whatever. I don't know. Time is but a construct. Another team I'm intrigued about. Actually, I will say I'm very excited. This team would be in must watch. But controversial. I hate foul baiting. This team's the best at it. I will not be watching every game of the OKC Thunder. It's obviously there's a deep-rooted hatred there. They're just better than us the last few years. They've whooped my team's ass. But this year, yeah, they're very excited. I'm not going to put them must-watch. They're not one of my must-watch teams. That will probably change halfway through the year when they eventually go on like a 30-4 run and just dominate the league again. But right now, out of pure hate and spite. But also, I respect Shea. That's the only reason they're actually in. Very excited. I respect Shea. He's so much. He's so good. He's so good. 2-time MVP. They're very excited. I'm excited to watch them. Another team I'm very excited to watch. Dallas Mavericks. Cooper Flag is going to take that step. Year 2. He's going to dominate. And now they've just brought in another number 1 overall pick, Zachary Richardson. I'm a fan of him. I know his on-off numbers when he was on the bench, and when he ended up going from starter to the bench, they looked so much better. But I'm just a fan of getting talent around good players. They've still got Kyrie. They've still got Gafford. Lively comes back. Najee Marshall still. I'd rate Najee Marshall so highly. Cooper Flag is going to be must-watch eventually. But right now, the Mavericks are an exciting young team to watch, and I cannot wait. Here we are. We're sort of halfway. I'm getting through it. The Phoenix Suns, meh. I don't think they've done enough to really gauge my interest. Obviously, I was pretty low on them last year, and then they ended up making a playoffs. They lost to OKC. Yeah, they made the playoffs. I don't watch that much of the Phoenix Suns. They're not that interesting to me. Devin Booker is obviously interesting. Jalen Green being there is pretty cool, but the Phoenix Suns are in the meh category for me. This is the Raptors are intriguing. Obviously, the Kawhi deal has not gone through yet. I think they're waiting on that investigation. If the investigation falls through, the Raptors are probably still here. If Kawhi goes up, they're in. I'm very excited. But right now, I'm gonna leave them in. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued by the defense. The defense is going to be crazy. You are not going to score points on Toronto very well if they get the Kawhi deal. And even if they don't, they're still just kind of Murray Boyles is going to be year 2. Scotty Barnes is just getting better and better and better. But yeah, this team, I'm very intrigued by. All right, next team, meh. It's the Golden State Warriors. I'm sick of it. The construction build since 2020, since they won the chip, has been terrible. They continue to try to get stars. No stars join them. They went to get Jimmy. Obviously, unfortunately, Jimmy then had an injury, sort of ruined their chances. The team's old. They brought in Kristaps Porzingis. They've missed out on LeBron. Like, Porzingis has a mystery illness, and then LeBron chooses not to go to him. Giannis, there was obviously Giannis rumors. That's no longer a thing. I'm just not excited to watch Golden State. The only reason you are watching Golden State games is to watch Steph Curry, and unfortunately, they are doing him a disservice. And I am sitting here. The Golden State Warriors are doing Steph Curry a disservice. They have done him a disservice since 2020. I believe he will be traded at the end of next year. If they have another season like I predict, I believe Steph Curry will be gone. He may even be gone sooner. That's a story for another day, though. Next team, I'm meh about Houston Rockets. I am not excited to watch Kevin Durant shoot the ball and then just offensive rebounds, no shooting from anyone else. Actually, I've just reminded, Freddie VanVleet comes back. So I'll say I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see this team with a little bit more shooting. It's not much more shooting, but they really missed a proper point guard last year, and now they've got Freddie VanVleet back. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how that'll work. Freddie VanVleet obviously isn't the guy he was when he was on the Raptors, but he's he is more than quality point guard for a team that has championship aspirations. Um, but yeah, we need to see a little bit. We need to see another playmaking jump from Amen Thompson. I know the jump shot's probably never going to be there, but it needs a little bit. It needs just to do something. I need a better year from Alperen Şengün. He needs to actually finish at the hoop, which is something he was not very good at last year. We all expected him to be sort of take that jump, and he didn't. He sort of plateaued a bit. So we need to see a bit more from him. I'm intrigued to see how the point guard work, but if it could be this could go very quickly next year. Another team I am intrigued about. Am I intrigued? I'll say the Nuggets are very exciting simply because they have Jokic, so they should be up here. But they've done nothing. They have genuinely done nothing. The Denver Nuggets, they obviously just signed Spencer Jones back, and he's cool. He was really good when Aaron Gordon was out, but it just doesn't move the needle enough for me for Denver. I don't think when you have Jokic, you're a contender. That's just how it is. He's that good. Jamal Murray, I think, had a bit of an opposite season last year. He was really, really good during the regular season, but I think it caught up to him in the playoffs. Whereas last few years, I feel like he maybe wasn't as quality in the regular season. Still good, still unbelievable, but when he got to the playoff, he really took another level. I think he needs to find that consistency, playing high level in the regular season and then keeping and improving in the playoffs. Obviously, Jokic is a 1 in a million player, and I'm excited to watch that, but I'm not going to put him in must watch this year simply because they've done nothing in the offseason. And of course, this is a very early video to be doing this, so they may end up doing something, but I think right now they're over the second apron and they've still got to sign Peyton Watson. So it's not looking good. The next team that I am intrigued about is the Boston Celtics. Obviously, they've just moved off Jaylen Brown for peanuts. Paul George is still a quality player, but he's nowhere near the level of Jaylen Brown. This is pretty much now, can Jason Tatum lead a team to a quality season? He's just watched his ex-running mate do it with the same squad, basically. They brought in Mitch Robinson, who I think is an upgrade. It's their center position. Jason Tatum right now has no reason not to lead this team to the playoffs. At least. I don't think they've gotten that much worse. Obviously they have gotten worse. Apologies, but Jason Tatum didn't play most of last year. Now he's going to play. He takes that responsibilities that Jaylen Brown was taking, and he's got Paul George to help him out. Obviously, Paul George isn't the player he used to be, but he's still a great 3-and-D player, and his defense has actually been really good last year. I'm intrigued to see if Jason Tatum can lead a team like Jaylen Brown did before him. Another team I'm intrigued in, Memphis Grizzlies. Obviously, they've just moved off Jar. They've just moved off all of that old Memphis team last year. Obviously, moving Jarrett Jackson. They moved Desmond Bain. Jaren Jackson Jr. Moved Desmond Bain 2 years ago now. They've got a haul of picks. They've got Cam Boozer, who I don't know if I'm going to do a video about it in it soon, but Cameron Boozer is my favorite player in this draft. I think Cameron Boozer is going to be a stud for a very long time, and him next to Zach Edey is very, very intriguing. I cannot wait to watch that. Javon Smalls, Colin Coward. No, Colin Coward's not it. Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Cedric Coward, sorry. Obviously, they got Kareem Lopez in. They got just signed Quinton Post, Isaiah Stewart, G.G. Jackson. I'm very keen on them. D'Angelo Russell is on the Memphis Grizzlies. What the? That guy gets anywhere nowadays. I feel like they're going to reinvigorate the Memphis hustle and the energy that those grit and grind Grizzlies used to bring, especially by bringing in Isaiah Stewart. I think they're going to re-evolve their identity, and I'm really keen to watch how they do that. I'm mostly just looking forward to the Zach Edey, Camper as a pairing with Cedric Howard running wild out there. So Memphis are in my intrigued. I wouldn't rank them above the Celtics, the Raptors, or anyone higher. I would say they're right there. Another team I'm meh, and this is where the timing of this video is probably why this team's in my meh. They have like 5 point guards. They have Dame, Scoot, Drew, Ja. Oh, there we go. And then obviously Shaden Sharp's not a point guard, but he's still a guard. I don't know how that's gonna work. I'm very confused with how that's gonna work. I'm not a big Ja guy. I'll be straight up. I'm not a big Ja Morant guy. I don't know if he's fit along this team with Dame. If that's what they're gonna do. If they're gonna do Ja and Dame, I don't know if that. I like that. I don't know if that's gonna work as well as people think. He's exciting when he gets up and going, but he's obviously had the off-court stuff. He's obviously been a bit more injured. He's lost his burst a little bit, but it depends. If they move off Scoot or if they move off Drew and they get this team they can actually figure out what their starting five is and what they roll with, it may go into intrigued. But right now they're meh. I probably won't pay too much attention to the Portland Trailblazers. Another team I'm meh on. Orlando Magic. I'm just not high on them. I just don't know. Paolo annoys and frustrates the hell out of me, so I can't imagine being an Orlando fan. He's just never. He's not playing. He doesn't play to his size, and it's a shocking thing to watch. Franz Wagner is obviously they've had injury concerns. Franz Wagner himself was injured a lot last year. I need them to be healthy. And I'm not that intrigued. It just goes with it. Like, they're a meh. I'm like, I probably will. I probably won't watch their basketball games. I don't know. But yeah, I got not much to say on Orlando. I don't know what else. They haven't done too much, I don't think. I think they lost KCP, or I don't know if he was on the Memphis Grizzlies. But yeah, I'm not high. I'm not too low. I'm just meh on the Orlando Magic. Atlanta. Great question. Do I put them in? Am I excited to watch them, or am I intrigued? I'll say intrigued. I'll put them in intrigued. I'll put them right above Boston. I'm intrigued by Atlanta. Obviously, last year they took the most games off the eventual champs, which was 2 in the playoffs. Jalen Johnson continues to evolve and become a really, really good player. He needs to work on his half-court stuff a bit more, but they've built this team around him. They've got, obviously, Kingston Flemings has just come in off the draft. They've still got CJ, who, as you can see, CJ's still got it. I'm obviously Dyson Daniels. The defense, like Lou Dort's just been traded there. They're pretty much the OKC Hawks at this point. They've got Aaron Wiggins, Lou Dort. They still needed to address some size. Obviously, they don't. Onyeka Okongwu is still a smaller center, but I don't know. They still need to address size. If they end up doing that, obviously sign Jock Landale. But yeah, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see how far Jalen Johnson will evolve. I'm keen to see the defense. I can imagine the starting lineup looking sort of like CJ, Dyson, Lou Dort, Jalen Johnson, Onyeka. But yeah, I'm excited to see they got good depth now. Obviously, Aaron Wiggins is there, Kingston Fleming, Jock Longdale, Corey Kispert, Buddy Hield. Nikhil. Oh my God, forgetting about Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Seeing if he can keep his level or if it wasn't just a one season wonder. Sorry, so that's the starting point guard. Sorry, Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Dyson, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Lou Dort, Jalen Johnson, and Onyeka Okongwu. That's their starting 5 for me. I'm just intrigued with that. See how far they can go. I don't think it's as high up. I don't think they're a contender. Don't get me wrong. I don't even think they probably won't even get to the Eastern Conference Finals. But I see them pushing one of those Eastern Conference. I see them pushing for a top 5, top 6 spot. Definitely trying to get out of the play-in in the East. Another team I'm very excited to watch. Indiana Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton coming back with Zubac. I think that's going to be a dream. Obviously, the first few months might be rough. We don't know what to expect from him coming back from Achilles. Obviously, he didn't come back last year. They didn't really need to. They were sort of already out of it by the time Tyrese was ready to go. Um, Obviously, one of the best point guards, one of the best offensive floor raisers in the league at the moment. I think Tyrese, if he comes back the same way he was, this team's going to be up and running. The only issue is Zubac going to run with him? He's obviously not the most crazy, fast and athletic center in the game, but we know that what he is good, he's good at rebounding, he's good at defending, and if you pass him the ball under that hoop, he's going to score it. Which Tyrese Halliburton is good at, and he will do that. Another team I'm intrigued / mare on is the Washington Wizards. I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued to see, one, if AD plays. Again, timing of this video, probably not the best, but I just wanted to get it out. Is AD going to play for them? If not, they probably go down to why would I do this to myself? Trae Young with this new team, this new young offense, Bilal, Alex Sarr, and obviously AJ Debonsa. Yeah, these guys are definitely an intrigue, even if AD doesn't play. AJ Debonsa is going to be a stud for a long time. Obviously I'm not a big draft college guy, but when I watch the Summer League, man, he is unbelievable. So he's going to carry this team for a long time. And I think Trae Young's the perfect guy to have alongside him. They've obviously got a real deep young core with AD, who should hopefully play there. They could do anything. They could go all the way to the be a play-ins lock, playoff lock, or they could struggle to get into the play-ins. It's hard to say, but I'm pretty high on Washington. I think Washington will definitely be in the play-in playoff look. They may even get out of it, in my opinion. Another team I'm meh on. It's the Cavs. I don't think it's controversial to say that they're the funnest basketball to watch. Obviously, I liked Evan Mobley, but are we going to get something more than 18 and 8 or 18 and 10 from Mobley? Is he going to take that jump? At this point, we've been saying it for so long. Are we actually is it just false hope at this point? I don't know if he's anything more than what he will be. Obviously, he's a decoy, but we obviously look back at that and we say, well, Wemby just didn't hit the 65 game average mark, and that's the only reason he got it. He was the second best defender in the league at that point, but he's now on a team where he is playing power forward as a center with Jared Allen, and he's still just doing 18 and 10, 19 and 9. Like, he's not taking that superstar jump. Obviously, Taylor all right in the playoffs, but we need to see a jump from him. I'm a bit iffy on him. James Harden still hasn't signed his contract, I don't think. I'm not entirely sure on that. And I'm not the biggest James Harden guy. Regular season, fine, but playoffs, he just shits the bed a bit. Donovan Mitchell is obviously going to be interesting. You're obviously going to stay in and watch Donovan Mitchell, but I am not the highest on the Cavs as most people. Another team I'm not too high on is the Detroit Pistons. I'm going to put them in watchability. I'm intrigued. They haven't signed anyone too crazy, I don't think. I want to see that just real quick before I make a judgment. No, so obviously Jalen Duren is still an unrestricted or restricted free agent. They signed Kevin Huerter. They got ISO Joe. Like, they've got shooters in, but John Collins as well. I just don't know if they've done enough to really move the needle for me to be where they was. They're probably still going to be top 4 in the East, and Cade Cunningham will probably be an MVP candidate, but I just thought they needed to make a move for a more offensively talented player. They didn't do it. They got shooters in, but they've got, I would sort of say, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Huerter, ISO Joe. They're sort of same position. So are they going to not play one as much as the other? The defense is obviously why you put them intrigued, because they're unbelievable. On defensive end, Jalen Duren, is he going to come back and be an all-NBA player like he was? And is he going to shit the bed again in the playoffs? We don't know. There's a lot of we don't knows about this team. We obviously saw them be the number 1 seed last year, but obviously that was a year where the Celtics were down, the Pacers were down. There were a lot of teams that were hindered by injuries that year. And is it a fake number one seed? I don't know. We'll see. But I have them in the top 4 to 5 range. But I'm not going to say that they're the team that I want to watch the most. Another team that I'm meh on, a lot of meh and intrigued. I'm not just going to bullcrap and say, oh, I'm excited for this team. I'm not really. The Utah Jazz, I'm intrigued. I will put them in intrigued. Darren Peterson, and that's about it. I can Kevonte. Is it Kevonte? Is it Kevonte? Kevonte. I'm doing the wrong thing there. Mispronouncing names. Get used to it. Keontae George. Keontae George is he going to take a jump? Is Ace Bailey going to take a jump? What's their starting 5 now? I think it's probably Keontae, Darren, Ace, Darren, or Laurie than Jaren. They've still got Nurk. They've still got Kyle Filipowski. Jackson Hayes joined them. I didn't know that. Cody Williams is still there. God, he's interesting. Okay. Look, I don't know if they've made, like, losing Walker Kessler, I think was a big deal. I don't, like, that was a team I was looking at. Well, they definitely could push to be a play-in spot. It definitely just depends on how good Darren Peterson comes in straight away and impacts this team. The defense worries me a little bit. You've sort of just got Jaren Jackson Jr. down there. They've got athletic guards, so maybe they can have a crack on defense. But the defense worries me with that team. And obviously, yeah, the depth probably isn't that great. But we'll see how it goes. I'm intrigued to see Darren Peterson. That's why they're there. That's why they're at the bottom of the I'm intrigued list. And another team that I'll say meh. Clippers, meh. Obviously, it depends. If the Kawhi's still there, I don't know if I could watch it if Kawhi's still there. I don't think he wants to be there. He tried to get out. He obviously got out if the Raptors thing goes through. Darius Garland passing to a bunch of younger players, sort of DG's team, I think, at this point. And I'm sort of not that high. I don't know what to expect. I think they're on the same boat as do they have their picks? I don't know if they have their picks. I've come into this and I've just thought, bugger it, let's go for it. So they've also got Keaton Wagler. I'm not high on him. DG. Rui actually brings... This team will be exciting. This team is exciting. I'll put him in meh for the sake that they've still got some players that I'm interested in. You know, Yannick Conan-Niedenhauser will be interesting there. DG, I just want to see DG have a career year. And that's why I'm putting him in meh. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Meh. Putting him in meh. But yeah. I'm not going to blather and blather on. This video's already gone a bit too long. So the must-watch teams for this year, for the 2026-2027 season, I have the Philadelphia Sixers being the most must-watch. I have the San Antonio Spurs. I have the Timberwolves. I have the Lakers, Heat, and Knicks. I'm all very excited to watch OKC Thunder, Denver Nuggets, Mavs, Bulls, Hornets, and Pacers. I'm intrigued to watch the Houston Rockets, the Washington Wizards, the Toronto Raptors, Atlanta Hawks, Celtics, Grizzlies, Pistons, and Jazz. The meh teams are the Cavs, Warriors, Orlando, Portland, Brooklyn, Clippers, Suns, Milwaukee. And why would I do this to myself? I've got 2 teams in there. It's the Sacramento Kings and the New Orleans Pelicans. Anyway, thank you for watching, guys. If you got this far, leave a like. Try and sub for me. We're on the grind to 100 subs. We're at 72, 73 now, last I checked. So make sure you subscribe up. Comment if you think something's wrong. Like I said, I will see most of the comments, if not all of them, because there's not many. But I will comment back to you on most of them. Let me know if there's anything I can improve on. And cheers, guys. It's the Big Chid Show. I'm Big Chid. See you in the next one. See ya.